Yo, what's up, guys? Zach Homol here with the Young and Hungry FireCast, episode number
11.
Oh, yeah, Jay,
11.
This is the midweek Q&A show that we've been talking about the past few weeks, and we're bringing it live today. Jay Azeltine, what's up, my brother?
What up? What up? It's finally going down. We talked about it for a few weeks. Sometimes it takes us a few weeks to finally decide on something, but we've decided to make it happen. And going forward now,
we weighed our options. We're ready.
I'm excited, dude. It's going to be like we talked about, strictly Q&A. We won't really get into any other side topic. Well, we might. It sometimes happens, but mainly sticking to the topics. Not really getting into the past week or anything. Just staying strict. And so, without any further ado, let's get into it.
Let's jump into this.
All
Jay.
right. I got some Instagram questions here. Starting off with Clayton Langhoff. I hope that's pronounced correctly. I'm a big stickler for pronouncing names correctly. People always pronounce, like, throughout high school. So get this. Okay, my last name's Azeltine. I hear it all different ways. But one time I had a substitute teacher, and I swear she did this on purpose. She said, asshole time. Like legit asshole time. I'm like, I guess that's me. All right.
Yeah, I'll take it. All
right, let's get into it. Clayton, he asks, why is dairy such a big thing to stay away from when cutting, dieting, etc.? And I thought about this question.
This is your answer.
Well, I thought about it, and I need to research it because I honestly don't know, like, scientifically why, but this is a complete guess. And I think it's because the dairy is so much different than it used to be, and when it goes through all these process operations and so forth, I think that's when you strip a lot of the actual good stuff out of it. Because Dr. Serrano, we talked about him before, he said, because a lot of people don't think that milk's very good for you. Contrary to popular belief, people think you have to drink milk. And I used to think when I was younger, I would fucking smash a gallon almost every day.
Yeah.
I haven't had milk in years now, really, except for sometimes with cheat meals. But he said it's actually good for you if you drink it, like, straight from the cow. Like, he said I think he was telling some story one time, and he said when he was younger, he worked for a cow farmer. And he said he would always see them drinking different type of milk, and he wasn't sure why. And apparently it was like before it was all pasteurized and all the bullshit, because that strips a bunch of the healthy stuff from it. So I think that has something to do with it, which is all the processing. But honestly, I'd have to look more in. Yeah, so basically, like, I don't know scientifically why the dairy's not very good for you when you're cutting, especially. It doesn't really allow for you to lose as much weight or get as lean. But I know specifically for me, I know that's how it's always been. If I try to do eggs like a couple weeks out, I always have to cut them out just because I can't lean out quite as efficiently as I do with beef. Beef's really good for me. And I think it might depend on the person too. Some people might lean out better with eggs, but it seems like for the most part, it doesn't allow for as much weight loss. I know milk, like I said, most milk you get from the grocery is not that great for you. It fucks up your stomach usually.
Isn't the humans are the only species on Earth that drinks another animal's milk?
Isn't that strange? Like, can you imagine? I know this is like a common thing. Like, can you imagine the first guy that decided to fucking milk a cow and then drink that shit? Like, come on.
This thing and drink it, man. And so I'm like mildly lactose.
Yeah.
So I don't even have like protein shakes and
no ice cream, bro.
Well, I can have a little bit of ice cream.
Okay.
Nothing like Creighton, no carb life, but I can have a little bit of ice cream. It's super mild. It feels like whenever I have lactose foods, like there's like a brick in my chest. It's really weird.
Interesting.
It's like a mild allergic reaction. But I've never really been into milk anyways, and especially I just thought it was weird. Like, I've read that a long time ago that we're the only species on Earth that drinks another animal's milk. So I'm like, well, that's just fucking weird anyway. So
no, it's definitely weird. Like, I can't even imagine, like I said, the first human to decide to embark on that little journey. So like I said, not really scientifically sure exactly why. I think it might depend on the person and also like just how it's processed and so forth and everything these days, man. Like, even I kind of stray away from the mixed veggie bags just because they're so processed. They have preservatives on it. I'd rather go all natural. Yeah. It's just the conveniency, though. Like, I fall into that too. I'll do the mixed veggie frozen bags just because it's so fucking convenient.
It's cheaper. It's cheaper too. It's just like it only makes sense. But when really you're looking at that bag, like, dude, this is like
it's so easy.
Trying to eat Pringles then instead. Like, it's really not that great. You know.
Yeah. So trying to stay like natural, I would say, is definitely a better way to go, and that'll probably allow you to lose more weight, get leaner on the dairy. Like brown, homegrown, grass-fed eggs are really good. But again, I've never really been able to lean out as quickly with them, so that's just personal experience. Moving on. Let's see what we got next. Jay, one of my clients, shout out to Jay. He he asked, we talked about this a little bit on our weekly call yesterday, but he asked keys to a better bench and building a bigger, thicker chest. So start with that, Zach. What do you think?
Dude, so this is like actually like they can work right together for each other. So building a bigger, thicker chest, wide grip really helps thicken up that chest, make your
So you
chest
go like further out with your elbows, because I know a lot of people. Obviously, that's not good. Like if you're trying to powerlifting, so you don't think so? No.
No, so actually if you go wide and your elbows still go further out, you're kind of just throwing all that weight on your
front delt,
which is also going to be hard on your shoulders. It puts it in a really awkward angle, so still keeping your elbows tucked. I would put my finger, so in competition, your finger can't be out, your index finger can't be outside the ring. So that's about where I'll put it whenever I'm doing my ultra wide grip. And I'll be doing heavy sets between 4 and 5 reps. So that's going to help thicken up that upper chest. You ever seen like Arnold's chest?
Oh, it's insane.
It looks like it's like 20 inches like long, right? So that's kind of what you're shooting for when you're doing the ultra wide grip bench press. And Louis Simmons also did this article on it. He was talking about on his podcast one day how this old dude told him to get his bench up once a week, do a 4x5 or a 5x5 ultra wide, wider than competition grip bench, and do it every week for like 4 weeks, and then drop it like a 3x3, and then go back to the 5x5. And it legit works. I did it. That helped build my bench up. So that's something you can use to do.
Yeah.
Also, another thing I did a bench every day program, which also grew my chest, and it was basically like a conjugate split, kind of similar to Corey's squat every day, but I used like 80 or 90 different variations of the flat bench, and floor pressing and a little bit of incline benching. So bands, chains, that's also grew my chest. That'll be on my website, the Bench Every Day program too. There's like 80 or 100 different variations we used, all in 3-week splits. So
that's crazy.
Hell yeah, man.
Interesting. I've never taken that route and tried to do that to grow my chest. So that I think that would actually benefit me as well.
Yeah, a lot of guys want to jump in like doing flies and stuff, which flies is going to build your chest, but I get more like, I guess you could say, like inches out on my chest. It gets like that, you're talking about, like, I guess you could say thicker.
Yeah,
that
just
way,
get
rather
denser
not so
and just
yeah, not as wide though. A lot of guys think you're getting wide chest from doing flies, which makes sense because you're pulling it apart. But I've always gotten more width from doing that wide grip bench, so I would jump into those.
Yeah, for sure. I like the incline bench as well, like we talked about before, with the really high touch point and just making
that longer range of motion.
Exactly, and going really wide. I like going super wide on the incline bench as well, because if you go close, it's going to hit your triceps more, I feel like. But if you go wide, you can really focus on that stretch and squeeze. So like you said, with the heavy bench, you can go heavy on the incline as well, switch it up between high rep and doing volume, and then low rep heavy weight.
Yeah, I definitely think guys need to start doing. A lot of people are thinking you have to do a shit ton of reps, like quote unquote bodybuilder workouts to get size. In a sense, that you have to build that dense muscle. Like Corey, if you look at Corey, that dude got like old man muscle. Me and him were on a phone talking the other day, and he's just like, dude, this old guy told me, when he was like 27 years old, he goes, dude, you keep doing what you're doing, you're gonna look the best you ever looked when you're 40. And Corey,
he does.
Whatever, dude, right? And look at him now. It's like a deer. If you're like a deer hunter, the older the deer gets, like a certain age, 8, 9, whatever, 7, 8, 9, it keeps getting bigger and bigger. So it's the same exact thing, man, with the human body. It's just making it denser and denser and denser. And you do that by still training heavy. That's why powerlifting should be your core foundation of any athlete, especially anyone in a bodybuilding or, strength and everything, conditioning, different sports. You even need to make powerlifting your foundation.
Or at least do a little bit of it. I mean, there's a lot of bodybuilders out there and fitness guys these days that literally don't do any type of heavy work, and it's just low reps. Yeah. So
for sure, man.
Definitely something that I think a lot of people can benefit from. So moving on. All right, let's see what else we got here. This is fun.
I like
these are quick hitters. This is good for my short attention span, because sometimes on the normal show when we get rolling on topics, sometimes I'll just look off into the distance.
He starts doodling all the time.
I do, especially if I'm jacked on caffeine. So this is good. Quick hitters are really good for me. All right, so let's see. Jules, she asks, best arm toning exercises for females.
For females. So this is a little bit different, to kind of contrast to what I just said. For females, I usually train my females to be, it depends on, I guess, their body. Like some females are like, I know my girlfriend Ashley, she's real adaptive. As soon as she starts training heavy, she like kind of like almost bulks up a little bit.
Really?
Yeah. So it's like most chicks won't really bulk up, but I've always done chicks whenever I was training them. They do lots of volume when they're with me. It's like 21s, drop sets, So that's the type of things that I would shoot for, like more sets, back down sets. So maybe you work up to a set of 10 with dumbbell curls, right? And it's a heavy set. And then I would do back down sets, meaning, say you do the 20s for 10s on curls. Then the next set, you're going to go back down to the 15s and try to do 25, and down to the 10s and try to do 30. So more drop sets, more back down sets, and just overall more volume from my experience.
Yeah, definitely the volume I think is key for women. It just depends on what your goals are, really. I mean, for most women, I would say they're trying to look more toned and defined instead of trying to get bulkier. So I think obviously the higher volume, less weight, and more intensity. So fast pace, not much rest is going to help.
Dude, that's something I see lacking in women is intensity.
Yeah.
They kind of just go in there and they're so focused. Like, it's so funny when I train girls, they're so focused on form. It's like, how's my form? I'm like, it's better than like 90% of the guys I train, because they're so worried about perfecting it. I'm like, now let's get it moving, and like keep the weights rolling. So something I see this females do is they're just so concentrated on form, which is good. But in the same sense, like sometimes form, now don't take this the wrong way, but sometimes form has to kind of go backwards a little bit for intensity to come up. The weight's going to get rocked a little bit every once in a while.
Yeah.
Which is totally fine if as long as the intensity is high. And once you have that like ultimate burn and you're totally fatigued and you're still trying to grind reps out, that's like a CT Fletcher. You'll see these guys like, you're like, oh, well, that's not a full rep. It's like, dude, the burn you're feeling right
Arnold
now.
talks so about intense. That too.
Yeah. And getting the force reps, basically you call them force
There's
reps.
always a time and place for not 100% correct form per se, or full range of motion. There's always going to be a time and place for everything. So yes, that's definitely something. But back to the arm toning for women. Essentially, I mean, you're going to be doing a lot of the same stuff like that I post that men do, but maybe just less sets, obviously less weight, and maybe more reps. So less sets, more reps, and then again the high intensity. I usually am very high intense myself. Depends on what type of training I'm doing, but for the most part, arm days, it's pretty quick. I run through it real quick. I run through like 3-4 supersets within 30 to 45 minutes. So I'm not wasting a lot of time. So those are some good things. Like I said, you can do pretty much all the same exercises that I post and a lot of the men do. You don't really have to do any specific, crazy different things for women. So cool. Moving on. We got Joseph Avila. He asks, who are y'all's favorite bodybuilders? Zach, who's your favorite bodybuilder, bro?
We're just talking about
who do you have a poster of in your room?
Dude, I don't have one. We don't idolize anyone in general. No one in the fitness industry I don't really idolize. So I don't even have a favorite bodybuilder. I guess I liked Ronnie Coleman back in the day when he just would lift heavy weight because he would scream, and I thought that was cool. And obviously, Arnold, but it's not like they're like my fate. I mean, I don't even get. I don't really. I'm personally, Zach Homol is not a bodybuilder guy. I like performance-based competition, and it's very arguably you can argue to say bodybuilding is, but it's not.
No, it is. It's definitely not.
Your performance is not based on your stage that day. Maybe you have a good routine or whatever, and a good, you carb load correctly and you look depleted, whatever. But that's not performance-based. Performance-based is going out there and competing. A football game, a powerlifting meet, Olympic lifting meet. Whoever does better that day on those specific, performances. So I've never even been a huge bodybuilding guy. I respect the sport because I know
that's what I was about to say. Yeah,
very mentally taxing, and losing all that weight and getting shredded and the diet, and that's I just pick my battles. Like I know personally, I'm never gonna hold that strict of a diet for that many weeks. 3 or 4 months. Like I'm just not. That's just not Zach Homol. Zach Homol was a fucking.
It sucks, bro.
Yeah, I'm not. I don't dig it. I don't think it's very fun at all. I'm miserable, if I'm not eating 600 grams of carbs a day and I'm not lifting the heaviest I've ever lifted. The minute I start going back down, I start getting frustrated. So I was like, even if I have short-term memory loss, if it's like week after week, I'm getting weaker and weaker, cutting for like a shoot, kind of like we're doing now. Yeah, it's mentally taxing. And I give those guys that credit for doing that. So I'll never, depreciate how hard it is to be a bodybuilder. But for me, it's just not my thing.
Yeah.
So I don't even have a favorite one.
Agreed. Yeah, I definitely don't have like a favorite guy. I've never really been big into the bodybuilding like Zach and I were talking about, especially like maybe if I grew up in the day of like Arnold in his prime, I might have been a fan of it. I think it was a lot more popular in general in society. But yeah, in today's age, it's so much different. I've never really idolized anyone. I would have to go with Arnold if I had to choose one. Definitely respect the shit out of it. I'll do a show eventually. I'm not looking forward to it. I just don't have any kind of desire to really get on stage in a Speedo with a bunch of dudes. But again, I respect the hell out of it. And to get to that level of body fat, like I get lean for my shoots, but it's still not to where I would be when I do a show. You could have striations in your ass if you're trying to win, which is a whole
Oh,
nother
absolutely.
level.
It's a whole new
yeah,
beast, man. So it's just like Jay and I said, super respect. You can
yeah.
respect the sport, but listen to Jay. Like Jay's a fitness dude. Like guys trying to get on covers and get in magazines.
Mm-hmm.
Like going for like this magazine with Inside Fitness to be their second or third one. And he's 22. So he's doing his thing, but he still has his niche. Like,
Yeah.
just if you want to look good, there's different routes to go. There's just like fitness modeling.
That has to be so black and white. It doesn't have to be like I'm a powerlifter, I'm a bodybuilder. That's all. You can in today's age with branding online and stuff. You can really do whatever the hell you want.
You can be whatever you want to be. Really,
yeah, you don't have to be defined.
Exactly. Like I'm not just a powerlifter. Before all else, I'm a motivator. That's what I like to consider myself. Even before powerlifter, I'm someone who wants to enhance the world and help other people out. So before all else.
Yeah, you're a health and fitness enthusiast per se.
Per se, yeah, I like that.
Yeah, definitely, I like that as well. All right.
I like DJ. I like that.
I like that. Another one.
Another one.
Another one.
Another question.
Jalen Skaggs. He asks, if you had to wake up in the body of another person tomorrow, but had the option to pick who would you pick and why? Man, that goes right in hand in hand with the last one.
Dude, Jalen, I'm legit not lying. I would rather wake up dead. I know that's a total contrast. You can't wake up dead, but I would seriously, I'd rather wake up in heaven. I don't want to be nobody. Literally to the core, I do not fantasize. I realize if I had to wake up in another body, I would rather be dead. Tomorrow, I don't want to. I really enjoy my life. I create my own destiny. I'm writing my book every day. So if I want to change, I make a change. Like if I want to live a life that someone else is living, I make the change in my life to live that sort of life. So absolutely not. I would rather be dead.
I like the end. I like how you worded that one. Very interesting way to put it. But yeah, I'm the same way.
Kind of over the top, maybe. Every once in a while I go over the top.
Hey,
James like, damn, Zach's gonna commit suicide. What's that movie when you wake up in like your friend's body or something? They pissed in like a water fountain. It's like a Disney.
I've never seen that.
So they wake up in each other's body and whatever. They had to like go to this fountain and pee in it and like electricity hit it.
Oh, I think I do. It's like Freaky Friday or something.
Yeah, I knew.
It's with that redhead chick that went absolutely batshit crazy, and now she's just like a huge just drug addict. I can't remember her name.
God love her.
Yeah, but I'm the same way. I couldn't even pick another person. But something that would be really cool, though, I think about this sometimes, is if you could go back in time and live like a day when you were younger. You know what I mean? Just like as a kid.
Yeah.
Obviously, dude, your life as a kid, it's untouched. It's hard to basically relive those days, like waking up on Christmas Day, stuff like that. So, like, if you could go back in time and live as yourself at like 10 years old or whatever, just like for one day and go back to normal, that would be kind of cool.
Yeah, that would be pretty neat. I never even thought of something like that. That would be,
I have some crazy thoughts, bro.
Yeah, people say all the time, like, oh, I wish I was still in high school and stuff. I don't really wish I was still in high school because I really like where I'm at right now. Like, I like being the captain of my ship, the captain, the pilot of my plane. To where in high school, even though my mom was real cool, like chill and let me do my thing, like she never really pushed me into like going to college or nothing like that. I was still under her command because I was under her household. So like, if my mom said something, it went. Like I never fucked with. Like if my mom said to do something, out of strictly disrespect of my mother, I listened to her. To where now, like I don't have a boss. So I like. I don't know if I'd ever want to go back in high school and actually live in high school, but
just like one day.
Oh man, to like experience like my junior like prom, like I remember how much fun we had that night. Like we just tore it up. So like I'd like to re-experience that.
Yeah, for sure, agreed. So last question here, and this came from someone on Snapchat. Ben Hundo is his name on Snapchat. He asked kind of to follow up on the real estate investing that I'm doing with my house right now. So essentially, I'm building a new build house. My dad's a builder, so I get a nice discount on it. So I'm going to be living in that for 2 years. There's a tax break if you live in a house for 2 years. You can sell it after those 2 years. Don't get taxed at all. If I try to turn around and sell it right away before living in it for 2 years, I would have to pay like 20-something% tax on my profits, which is a quarter of your profits. So that's a lot of money. So again, the tax rule, and I think this applies to all states, is basically if you live in if it's your primary residence and you live there for 2 years, then you can turn around and sell it. And again, I think it's with new builds and pre-existing houses. So again, I'm going to live there for 2 years. I have 2 roommates that'll really help pay most of the mortgage for me. Turn around 2 years from now, sell it. Hopefully the real estate market stays really hot. Make a lot of money, tax free. Put that in the bank. He asked about a real estate book as well that you can kind of just get some ideas on and learn a little bit. There's a really good one by Gary Keller. It's called The Millionaire Real Estate Investor. He talks a lot about the different types of investing because there's so many different ways to invest in real estate. You got rental properties, which is a longer term investment. There's flipping, which is flipping and rehabbing are the same things. You buy a shitty house, you go in, put anywhere between $5, $10 to $100,000+ into it, just rehab the whole thing, gut it, turn it into a brand new house, and then you sell it. There's wholesaling, which is basically you get a house under contract, and before you ever own it, you assign it to somebody else. Another investor comes in and buys it from you for a little bit more than you're buying it for. So you make $5,000, $10,000 without ever actually owning it, which is really cool. So there's a lot of different ways to invest in real estate. So check out Millionaire Real Estate Investor by Gary Keller. There's a lot of others out there. Check out biggerpockets.com. It's like a social media forum site for real estate investors. You can interact with other investors on there, which is really cool. They have a podcast as well, Bigger Pockets Podcast. They go over a ton of different real estate investing type stuff. So if you want to get into it, definitely check them out. They, I would say, like number one right now for podcasts and real estate, just like the forum-based site.
So much money in real estate, man. There's just so much.
Yes.
I mean, I just even know growing up, like that's even something from back home. Like my parents always said, like, there's always a lot of money in real estate, which I feel like even like from a small town, like it's even easy to see. Like if someone owns like a few rentals, it's super easy to see, this person obviously, is making money. So there's so much money in real estate flipping homes. My girlfriend likes to watch a lot of that HGTV or HG, whatever the fuck it is.
Yeah, they make it look a lot easier than it is, I think.
The flip houses and different things. Yeah, it's cool to see, the before and afters and different things, and there's definitely money involved if there's something you would like to do, you know what I mean? And it's just are you passionate in it? Like Jay said, his ultimate passion is pretty easy to see is fitness, prior towards, real estate. Maybe it'll switch eventually, but he's pursuing this, which in the I guess in the overall the grand scheme of things, yeah, like where can you make more money? Probably real estate, but Jay's so much more passionate in this, he might end up making more money doing fitness. So it really depends on where your passion lies.
Yeah, and like I've talked about before, that's what I thought my passion was. I try to kind of like trick myself into thinking real estate investing was my passion because I know there's a lot of money in it. And then within the last year, I realized that fitness has always been my passion. That's what I need to pursue. But I can always go into real estate down the road because once you have a lot of capital, like I talked about, rentals is one of the avenues to invest in. And it's a lot less, I would say, time consuming than flipping houses. So that's something I think I'm going to get into down the road is buying a lot of rental properties, having a property management company that runs them. So it's very hands off once I purchase the properties. Build up the portfolio, have that passive income coming in with each property and so forth. So I definitely will get into real estate investing still, but it's just I'm not nearly as passionate, and I could tell very quickly.
I like how you said it too. You would use a property management company to handle all your business as far as the property is concerned. Because I see a lot of guys, people who do have rentals back home, they're always stressed out because they have shit break and this, that, and a third. To where you're saying in your sense you'll cut your margin to have other people, handle that business. But when you're cutting your margin, doing it, have other people handling that frees up more time for you to actually, invest in more properties to where you're just totally stressing all the time about the toilet going out at Joe Schmo's house and then the water heater at other person's house. You're never going to have no time to actually invest in a different one. So you're not looking for that, short-term gratification.
And it's very discouraging too when you go through all those issues. And like you said, do people back home, like you'll hear so many people discourage you from going into real estate investing just because of their bad experience with it. And they were probably very hands-on and running it all there by themselves. But yeah, with the property management, they definitely handle pretty much all the issues. They manage, if you get a good one, they manage like the tenants. They scan and find good tenants. They scan the tenants once they get them and make sure that they don't have anything on their background, which is cool. So they handle literally everything. It takes so much stress off you. But again, like you said, you're cutting your margins a little bit, which is totally worth it in my opinion.
Oh, absolutely, dude. That's kind of like what I'm doing with my T-shirt sales. How we're selling so many T-shirts, and I know that on the backside that I have so much other stuff going on, and I can be more personable, elsewhere rather than with my T-shirts. So it's like I have a company who handles all the, the T-shirts. The only thing I do is I do the customer service, but that's that's only if there's a mix up. I handle the customer service and make sure everything's squared away. But freeing up space, freeing up time, that's something I notice in my life right now where the minutes are counting. So like the fact that I'm on this podcast right now, that means I know that's adding value to other people. If it's not, I'm not doing it. Like I'm really getting so strategic with it, like with my time, that I don't do bullshit. I just don't. Like if someone just wants to jump on a call just to bullshit with me, like I'll hop off the call within like 2 minutes. Like, okay, I gotta go. Like I'm
Yeah,
just so strategic with my time nowadays. So
you gotta be.
hell yeah. Yeah, for sure. All right, man, let me jump into some of my questions I got off Twitter for you.
Dope.
Cranak, my man Cran Daddy is always fucking
We gotta get together
dropping
with him, man.
bomb
I ain't seen
questions.
Granddaddy in a while.
He's up in Michigan, bro, like going for his doctorate in whatever the hell I don't even know what, like his degree is so broad that I can't even like put a finger on exactly what he's doing. But basically, like Kranek is doing like a PhD in something, and
Above my head.
he's just a total boss. I'm definitely looking to connect with Kranek in business down the
Yeah.
road as soon as he graduates because he's really good. But he backs like a lot of guys who are super smart don't have like that hustle and that drive to where Kranek, like when I go to the gym with him, we always link up when I go back home, and he's back home too for holidays. We link up and train. He carries that work ethic straight into the gym, dude. Like he's just he's a grinder. He is legit a grinder every, aspect of life from, weighing his meals. He knows what diet works for him. He weighs his food. He just handles his business. He knows what it takes, and he does it, dude. So shout out to Cran Daddy. He got a question here, though. It says, with the launch of Max Ever Muscle, what's your guys' thoughts on sham fitness companies? That's part one. Like Shreds, and why people buy into the nonsense, and how to steer customers towards a better brand.
Yeah, well, I don't really know a whole lot about the shred stuff. I just know that they had those fake images. Is there any more? Was there more to it?
I don't know. I guess they had fake images. I never even read on their products to see what their products were even. What was the ingredients were even in their products. So basically, what I'm saying, what I would see though, knowing that these fitness people like potentially Paige, what's her name, Paige Hathorn or Paige Hathaway,
Yeah,
what's her
something
name,
like that.
super hot chick on there, like potentially got butt implants or something. Like I don't know. I don't really buy into no one else's shit because I don't care what no one else is doing. I just really focus more on like what I'm doing, and that's something I can't control. But now that I'm obviously, owner with Max Ever Muscle, how do I push people towards our brand? It's simply by being me and being us. When you're going to Max Ever Muscle, you're getting real athletes, and they're giving their realm of things. Like you can look at me, and I'm not like the biggest guy. I'm not the biggest powerlifter in the world, nor am I exactly quote unquote the best. Even in my weight class, I'm arguably, one of the best competing right now, but I'm still not the top guy, day and age right this minute. I'm not the all-time world record holder. Placed in the top 10, but I'm not the all-time one, right? So then you look at it, so it's like I'm a real dude. I don't have you can't, my images aren't, photoshopped. You can just tell by looking at me I'm not photoshopped, right? And then like Corey, for instance, he's a 200-pound guy. Now he's fucking shredded, right? But you can tell he got there by naturally getting there. His images aren't photoshopped. He's on magazines. Dustin, established strength and conditioning coach. You look at the team across the board, like this is a team of real motherfuckers who just grind their way to the top. And obviously now we're using these products and it's working for us. That's how I would be the judge. How am I going to push people my way? Is simply just by being me, continue to do my thing, showing out, training hard, staying the course. I've been training 7 days a week for a lot of years, and I've been doing stuff that you're not supposed to do, not sleeping as much as you're supposed to, and doing these things that's a total contrast to the industry. I'm gonna continue doing them, and then I think I'm gonna attract. I'm gonna attract everyone who's like-minded. But on the backside, I even might change a few people. Like, hey, look, this guy is getting there through hard work, just like you would in anything else in life. By putting in more work, you get more results. Maybe I can be like that in fitness. Maybe I don't need these 3 rest days like everyone's telling me, and buying into these fake 30-day trainers and bullshit. Like I'm gonna be straight up with you every single time I talk to you. If you're expecting to be, oh yeah, you get on a 14 days and have a 6-pack. Well, unless you already are pretty shredded, probably not. So I'm always gonna keep it real. So I think just by us keeping it real is gonna pull people, gravitate people towards us.
What you just said there at the end is exactly what I was about to get into. Was just stay away. I would say a good thing to kind of recognize and stay away from is the people that are advertising the quick fix or like the get ripped in 7 days or whatever. Those are the ones that you can really pinpoint are like, okay, these guys are kind of fishy. Probably trying to sell me some bullshit like the what are those stupid ass things you see on Facebook all the time now? The MLM, it's like it works. You know what I mean? Where it's like those raps, like shit like that. Okay, it seems a little fishy. So stuff like that is definitely something I would personally stay away from. And yeah, man, obviously max effort is super real just because of the guys that own it, run it, and everything. Like, I mean, you know what you're getting. So again, I don't have a whole lot to say about the whole supplement thing.
So it's the content too. So this is something I just thought about as you're talking about that. Like when you're talking about us, to where like we're actually giving you content. Like we're not just working out and saying, "Look at these, we're working out. Go buy the products." Like we're explaining to you, you know, I'm breaking down the deadlift, and we're breaking down movements. We're actually giving you guys quality content. So we're showing you what the fuck we're doing. Rather so we're not just showing you a picture of our six pack and be like, we're just taking this, like we're showing you like, hey, we're actually, you know, supplements are a supplement to your diet. When people are always asking me what kind of supplements should I take, I'm like, first off, where's your diet right now? Now we'll supplement these products into your diet. You know, so that's kind of,
I think that right there is key, man. Anyone that says like all you have to do is take our supplements, that's a sure sign. That's a red flag. Like with you guys, man, you guys are straight up like, this in combination with your training and your diet is going to help you. But if you're just taking the supplements, you're not going to see any results. A lot of companies will try to sell you on the fact that all you have to do is take this weight loss supplement or whatever, and you're going to have abs and you're going to lose all this weight and so forth. You guys are straight up and tell the truth.
Yeah, we're showing firsthand you got to fucking grind. You know what I mean? We're showing you the content that we're working out hard, and this is an additive to our, you know, this is taking us to the next level. So I know you do need products to take you to the next level. That's why they, you know, they're made,
help. Yeah, 100%. They're supplements.
They're supplements, right? Just as like pre-workout. Like I know I'm notorious for taking. I've never stopped taking pre-workout. I've never cycled off of it. I need it to train. That's kind of just gets me in the right frame of mind to train. So I'll always, you know, probably take pre-workout and BCAAs. I really like where our product line is, the pre-workout, the fat burner, BCA. The fat burner has a great formula. I'm not too much of a fat burner guy. I'm on it right now, obviously going into the photo shoot. So this is about the only time I'll take a fat burner is now, but I've always taken just branch chains and I've always taken pre-workout. I keep it super simple. Like for my protein, I get it through food. Every once in a while I'll get like a protein bar from the gas station or something. So that could be something cool Max Effort Muscle could drop in the future. You know, maybe like a protein bar.
That'd be tight. Tight.
Stay tuned. That might be a little plug-in. You never know.
Ooh, sneak peek.
So stay tuned. So that's that's my gist on it, man.
Yeah, I agree. And like I said, I don't have a whole lot of input into that. Like we talked about, it's a supplement. It's meant to go along with your diet, your training. And again, the red flags are if anyone's trying to sell you on a get ripped or a quick fix or whatever.
Yeah, here's the deal. Those guys are rocking. They're driving around in Lamborghinis, and I'm driving around in a Dodge Avenger with a hole in the back that someone hit me and I haven't fixed it yet. You know what I mean? So like, who can you say? You know what I mean? At the end of the day, even if they're a scam, they're making millions. People are buying into it. So just be aware. Be aware. Next question from Clint. Can you guys discuss the fine line between ripping off others' business ideas versus tweaking them to make them your own? Yeah. I like that question.
I do too. There's always going to be similarities, man, between businesses. There's only so many ideas. So some people, and like we've talked about before, you and I don't really pay attention to a whole lot of people because we like to do our own thing. So there's two different ideas and ways to go about it. You can either shape your business around other successful businesses and get a lot of good ideas from them, but still make it your own, or just do completely on your own. But there's always going to be similarities, like I said, between businesses. That's just going to happen. But yeah, definitely is a way to completely steal a business ideas or just whatever. Like especially if it's someone you know or someone that you actually overheard talking about a business idea and you just completely jack it. That's not cool. So there is definitely a fine line between stealing shit and just getting ideas and tweaking them and using them for yourself, and again modifying them for your own preference. Everyone's different, so it's going to be different when you modify it to yourself and your team. Yeah. But
like I said, because everyone is different. So here, remember, Uber used to be called Magic Cab or something. It wasn't like Uber, but there was Uber was out before Uber was out.
Yeah.
Uber came in and they capitalized. So here's the idea. Maybe your homeboy got a good idea and he's on applying no actions. So what the fuck? Apply the actions and win. You know what I mean? I know how many guys have ideas. I know all my friends had ideas to open gyms, but I'm the one who opened the gym. And yeah, I've used a lot of their ideas. Like they've told me about stuff I had knocked off them necessarily. They never applied no actions and I did. So that could be a difference. And like Jay said, everyone's different. So as long as you're not stealing the fucking written out business plan and like throwing it on the table and running with it, throwing your own swing is definitely going to help. And dude, in just the world, it has 7 billion people in it. There's enough money for everybody, literally, in any business.
It's
So
that abundance mindset opposed to the what's the other mind? It's the abundance. God damn, do I have such diet brain? It's absolutely like I can't
no
even
carbs.
think. The carbs are killing me. It's scarcity. So scarcity mindset versus abundance mindset. God, man, I am blanking.
Yeah, that's how I take my gym too, and even my training. Like Jay and I just a few guys hit me up that was on Jay's programming before. Like, hey man, I'm switching over to power, and Jay literally pushed him my way. You're like, hey, go to Zach if you're going to power. Zach's, I know my shit, but Zach that's his specialty. Whenever I'm talking about diet, I'm not looking at scarcity. Like I'm looking like, hey, you want to diet? I can get you plugged in and make you look all right. But if you want to go to the next level, you need to go to Jay. Like, so it's like we're just passing people along, like putting people, where they're going to excel most at. But that also gives more trust into each of us. You know what I mean? Knowing that, like, oh, Jay's a really good dude. He's pushing, me to Zach because he's better, at the powerlifting thing. Like, that shows a lot about Jay's character.
It's going to come back full circle. You're going to benefit from it because they're going to realize, like you said, they're going to see that you're a real dude and you're just looking out for looking out for the best for them. So when it comes full circle and they need something else, they're going to come back.
They're going to come
whatever
back to
it may
you.
be.
Yeah, whatever it is, maybe even use both. So
delayed gratification. Boom.
That's it, brother. So definitely, I don't think there's I'm like super sensitive for this topic because I don't know if you're actually like ripping off someone's, unless like you have a supplement line and you take their exact fucking formula and just put a new label on it. That's maybe ripping off somebody. But at the end of the day, it's like if someone's not capitalized on it, you can go with it. Like
if you can do it better,
go. Put your own twist on it. Obviously, use your, you're very unique, so you use your own way to pitch it. That's my pitch on it.
Cool.
The next question. Clint asked another one. Let's move on to Kayla's question. One of two. At what moment did each of you guys realize that you were born to do more? In other words, grinding 20 hours a day, multiple jobs, being badass motherfuckers. Because I have the same mindset.
Dude, when I was younger, I knew that I definitely wasn't going to be able to be like a standard employee. I don't know at what point. Maybe it was like the shittiest job I worked at after high school, like that summer. As soon as I graduated, I delivered cabinets and stuff. But I think I've always had like an idea that I wasn't normal per se, and I wasn't going to be able to do like the normal track of going to college, getting your job, working until you're 65, and then retiring. I don't think there was an exact point in time. Maybe when I met Corey and I got close, the mindset continued to grow, and I started to realize that there's more out there, and you could be your own boss, and you could do whatever the fuck you want. You don't have to be an employee and listen to somebody all day tell you what the fuck to do and work like a slave. So again, I don't think there was an exact point. It's just kind of something that's always been on my mind, and the environment, the people that I've been around, and my surroundings have helped accelerate and grow that mindset. I think being around Corey, like I've talked about before, has been so huge. Who knows where I would have been at if I had never met him, because that really changed my mindset. I think it was there already, but it just, again, it ignited the fire and just really lit it. So I think the people you're around and your mentors and so forth have a huge effect on that.
Yeah, 100%. So I probably realized I was, I like the saying, humble enough to know I'm better than nobody, but wise enough to know I'm not like the rest. So I kind of like that kind of sunk in real big around my sophomore year of high school. I knew like growing up, I always excelled in sports and stuff. I always put myself in the top tier, and no matter what I did, any sport, I was always one of I was never really the best at everything. I wasn't like the standout kid, but I always made the all-star team, and I was always one of the better ones. But really, whenever I started boxing, I realized my sophomore year, was like about a year and a half into it, and I was running twice the distance as most amateur boxers were, and I was doing twice the work. That's when I started realizing, like, and I look around, my friends are out partying all the time. I was like, I'm different than most of my peers, And they didn't get me. Like, no one really understood me either. So that's when I started really realizing, like, I could either have been like, oh, let me be like them, or I just kind of rode that high, like, people started actually looking at me a little bit differently, and I like that. Almost, even if they almost hated on me, I still like that feeling to know that, like, I was in a different category, and that's why I realized I was different than people. But I slipped into the same realm though of going to working in the coal mines and stuff, and to actually, like, for job wise, when I started working in the coal mine, it's like I just wanted to be the best coal miner. It was the best paying job around, so I wanted to make the most money and be the best coal miner. So I still had that mindset of I wanted to be the best at it, but I didn't realize I was quote unquote entrepreneur until I was like working in the coal mine. And I didn't really take orders ever from anyone. It wasn't that I was like I guess like a bad employee where I didn't listen because I did, but it's like I didn't take orders. Like usually, I just even being an employee, I was making the decisions. Like if there was a decision to be made, I was always rising up, and I'm like, holy shit, like I'm a better number one than I'm a number two. And
Yeah.
I've always been a leader. So when I got out of the mine, I started working for Muscle Farm. I realized working for Muscle Farm very quickly. I was still my own boss in my territory, but I still had obviously like Jason, like the national guy or whatever. But a lot of things they were saying I didn't agree with, and stuff. And I'm like, you know what? This is not me. Like I need to make my own shots. Like I'm watching them drop the ball on a lot of things, and I'm like, nah. I'm a better number one is what I was thinking in my head. I'm better. Like I'm watching certain people lead certain people. And I've had great leaders in my day, but no one, I think, at the level I was at. And that's how I felt. Like I need to be a leader. I need to be number one no matter what I'm doing, because I just truly felt that I was, a little bit different than the rest. Like I know I've grinded harder than the guys that are in front of me and stuff. So it's like
You were super self-aware. Like that's so key, man. The whole self-awareness, like it always comes back to that. Delayed gratification comes back to these few pillars. But the delayed, or not the delayed gratification. What topic did I? My
Jay's like, dude, I need carbs. I'm dying. No, it's So basically, it comes down.
Oh,
to
self-awareness. Yeah, so self-awareness,
yeah,
and Gary Vee talks about that too. He's like, dude, if I could figure out how to instill that into people and figure out how to teach people to be self-aware, which I don't think is really possible. I think it's on you, and there are ways, I think, to maybe increase your self-awareness. But if you have that innate ability to be self-aware and know what you're good at, what you're bad at, what your strengths, weaknesses are, and what to really focus on, like you knew you were number one, you weren't a number two or number three, whereas some people are number twos, number threes, and that's okay. They just need to realize that they are a 2 or 3 because they're going to strive. They're just going to be a lot better in general at what they do instead of trying to fake. Yeah, instead of trying to fake it and really push to be a number one just because it sounds cool, but they're really not cut out to be that, and that's not what they were born to be. So the whole self-awareness thing, man, is so huge. So if you can figure out how to increase your self-awareness, it's going to benefit you greatly.
It's like the core principles, like the self-awareness we talk about, and instant gratification, delayed gratification. There's a few principles like that we live by, core values we talk about, mindset, which actually someone asked about mindset, but we're rushing to make that a topic this Friday. I'm actually getting a lot of good feedback about the mindset. People were like, dude, you guys are one of the only fitness podcasts that hits so much on mindset, which is huge because most people in the fitness industry, they're talking about dieting, which we talk about dieting, training principles, but at the end of the day, we're like, if you don't have a fucking strong mind, you're never going to go nowhere. It's like at the end of the day, that's the missing key.
It's where we differ a lot, man, from like, just sorry to cut you off, but like other fitness people, like we're able to speak on like self-help books, financial stuff, not just like this is how we eat, this is how we train. A lot of the fitness people out there, you'll notice that. And Steve Cook talked about this on Lewis Howes' podcast, how one of the things that really separated him was he was able to be like a real person and talk about books and all these different things, whereas most fitness people, it's strictly fitness. And that, again, talking about following people on social media, I can't see unfollowing people. It's literally 100% fitness. I like a little bit of a variety. So for me, I try to post excerpts from books. Sometimes I used to do it a lot more than I do now. I need to get more into that, and just general stuff. Again, we can kind of we can really step outside of the boundaries of fitness and discuss, like you said, the mindset and all that stuff. And I think it really helps separate us, and it's good not just to talk about strictly food and training and sets and reps and bullshit.
Yeah, man, and breaking down, what's going on in our lives and different things. I think it's all important because at the end of the day, guys, the gym might only last an hour or two, and even if it rolls over into the real world, there still is that real world in another 22 hours. And realizing, what we're doing and how we're capitalizing on it. And, it is from the gym. A lot of things I carry over from the gym. But it's a crazy, every day is crazy, 24 hours in a day. And if we're only using 2 hours of the gym, what's happened the other hours, and the mindset that you need to carry throughout those other hours, you kind of, because a lot of guys are savages in the gym, but then they go to work and they're being lazy. You need to be a savage in life. You need to be a savage throughout the whole entire day. So you got to carry that mentality, which kind of rolls over to Kyle's question here. But basically, you got to carry that mentality throughout your whole entire life. And I think that's something that we're like definitely relating on. Like, I don't like to read, but I force myself to do it. Or, I make sure I like to listen to audiobooks and podcasts. So I make sure I'm doing that and capitalize on what I need to capitalize on. And it's all, rooted from the gym.
Yeah. And I think I saw a definition recently. It was someone on Instagram saying like self-discipline. I think it was self-discipline is defined by doing the things that you don't want to do at times, but you need to do. Like we talked about before, it's important to find to basically figure out what you want to do in life. Like us with fitness and the different things that we do, it's what we enjoy. So it's That's what we've delved into, but there's always going to be stuff that you don't want to do. So self-discipline comes into play when there's things that you know you need to do and they're going to benefit you and push you towards your goals, but you might not want to do it at that moment or in general, but you still do it because you got that strong self-discipline.
Yeah, dude, my homeboy AQ, he's like 9 or 10-0 right now as a professional boxer and has 2 titles in West Virginia, both in like the 170, 177, 189 classes. So he's a savage. 1 gold in gloves. Super, super awesome guy. But I asked him, I said, Q, what's do you feel like is the root of your success in boxing? Like what's excelling you past, the average just dudes getting in there and, fighting and not actually getting belts. Like a lot of guys turn pro in boxing, but it's just to get like a quick like $500 or something. But he's actually fighting like mountaineer racetrack. Like he's working his way up the ranks. He's becoming a ranked boxer. Potentially gonna be getting some good paydays coming up soon. He's like, dude, it's. He talked about self-discipline. He goes, Zach, I make myself, and this is his exact words when I asked him, like I was kind of like interviewing him a little bit. He goes, his exact words are, Zach, I make myself do something, at least one thing every single day that I don't want to do. He goes, whatever it is, I don't care if it's wash the dishes, mop the floors. I do something every day that I don't like doing. And I think that's what's excelling me in my boxing career because I'm doing something every single day, whatever it is that I don't enjoy doing. And it was something so small, like literally washing the dishes. He didn't like do it, but he was so disciplined that mentality, he might not like doing road work, but he's doing road work.
Yeah, it rolls over into everything. What you do in your life rolls into your training. What you do in your training rolls over into your life.
Yeah, if you're lazy in the gym, that's why I talked about interviewing people. If they're lazy in the gym, they're gonna be lazy. They're gonna be a lazy employee. That's why I think Corey's hired so many guys from old school gym. He's seen Jay was a grinder, so it's like, yeah, it's super easy to hire Jay because he's a grinder. He grinds in the gym. He's gonna grind for me at at Muscle Farm whenever he hired you with Muscle Farm. So it only makes sense. It is a direct correlation.
Yeah, they definitely cross over. Like I said, what happens in your life and in the gym, they definitely cross back over.
For shizzle, Jay,
is that it? Is that it? We got them all.
What time is it? How long we've been on?
We about 45 to 50 minutes, which is perfect. Like we talked about, just quick hitters, cool. Knocking them out. So this is definitely something I think we're going to do at least. We'll try to do every week. For the most part, we'll see what happens next week. We'll be in LA, so we'll definitely be doing all kinds of content. Maybe something a little bit different, but for the most part, most weeks expect to have a Q&A show. Drop it on Tuesday or Wednesday.
For sure. Next week we'll probably actually interview Corey. We'll do a Q&A show with Corey. I talked to him the other day about jumping on a podcast with us. So we'll make that our next Tuesday podcast. It'll already be in LA. We'll go ahead and interview Corey. That would be cool. And we'll be back there, man. Yeah, we'll be back on Friday for the normal episode. Apologies for the diet brain, everyone. Excuse me on that. It might be even worse on Friday because I'm gonna be going really hard into the cut going into next Thursday. So excited about the rest of this week going into next week for the shoot. So we'll be back Friday. As always, stay young, stay hungry, stay grinding. All right, see you, Jay. Peace. See you guys.